take a moment with me. Just breathe. Slow and steady. There's nothing you need to fix right now. Nothing you need to prove. Just arrive fully. Now I want you to consider something. What if the life you think you're limited to isn't actually limited? Not because your circumstances are easy, but because your interpretation of them has been running the show. Most people believe their life is limited because of what's happened to them, their past, their opportunities, their resources. But that's not the real limiter. The real limiter is the mind's response to those things. Two people can go through the same situation. One expands, the other shrinks. Same conditions, different consciousness. Let's talk about the intellect, because this is where it gets real. The intellect is useful, but it's not meant to lead your life. It's limited, and it limits you in very specific ways. The voice of experience tells you you can only do what you've already done. The voice of your past history reminds you, look at your past. You've never succeeded like that before. The voice of your education convinces you you don't have the education or the credentials. And the voice of your self-worth wraps it all up together. Maybe you're just not that person. Notice what just happened there? It took pieces of your life and turned them into a ceiling. There are two ways of seeing life. The personal intellect asks, what can I realistically do? The universal mind asks, what is available to me? That's a completely different question. One is calculating based on the past. The other is creating from possibility. You don't break limitation by forcing harder thinking. You break it by accessing a deeper level of mind. When you shift out of intellectual limitation, something powerful happens. Your mind stops just analyzing and starts receiving. You begin to get ideas that don't come from overthinking, nudges that don't fully make sense yet, directions that unfold step by step. And here's the part most people miss. What feels like a small step forward might actually be positioning you for something much bigger. You think you're going from point A to point B, but life is quietly moving you toward point C. When you're open like this, you don't just think differently. You start attracting differently. You meet people at the right time. Opportunities show up in unexpected ways. Things start aligning without force. That's not luck. That's what happens when you're no longer closed off by limitation. You become available to connection. Now, this isn't a one-time realization. It's a state you must maintain. You keep your channels open by staying receptive to new ideas, being willing to change even when it's uncomfortable, letting go of the past, especially the parts that define you in a small way, and releasing anger, resentment, and emotional weight that keeps you stuck in old cycles. And this one is non-negotiable. Stop placing limits on your life. Period. Not on your income, not on your relationships, not on who you think you're allowed to become. I want you to try something. Simple but powerful. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your current thinking. It's like a dim light. Not wrong, just limited. Now imagine a brighter light, clear, expansive, beginning to pour into your mind. And silently or out loud, repeat, all channels are open to me. Again, all channels are open to me. One more time. All channels are open to me. Let that land. Not as a hope, but as a decision. You are not as limited as you've been taught to believe, and your life is not confined to what you've already experienced. The moment you stop letting your intellect define your possibilities, your entire reality starts to reorganize. So today, don't ask, what can I do? Ask, what is available to me if I'm truly open? And then move from there. If this shifted something in you, stay with this work. This is how you expand, not by force, but by opening. Blessings.